You're listening to Gearing Up, an Everyday Carry podcast, a show that's made for the community, featuring interviews with makers, creators, and members of the community, and discussions on current trends in the industry. Follow along as we talk about life, gear, hobbies, and more. And be sure to stay tuned for new episodes every week. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This week we have two guests, the two guys behind Novel Carry. Novel Carry is actually a sponsor of Gearing Up, so I was super excited to dive a little bit deeper and figure out what is going on behind the scenes with these guys. So thanks to Derrick and Josh for jumping on, and I hope you guys enjoy our chat. Hello everyone, welcome back to Gearing Up. I'm your host Greg. Today I'm joined by not one but two special guests, the dynamic duo, the masterminds behind what has very quickly become one of my favorite accounts to follow and places to spend money. Coincidentally, one of my wife's least favorite things for me to do. But I'm joined by the two guys behind Novel Carry, Josh and Derrick. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Greg.
Hey, thanks for having us on, Greg.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to talk to y'all. We were joking very quickly before I hit record about this is the first time I had my mom and my wife on together, so it's three of us, and I think they were even sharing a mic, so it was not the best. But now usually it's just me and one other person, so now we'll have someone else in the mix to hopefully add more, and this is gonna be probably the best episode out. I mean, I'd be okay with that.
I'll try not to talk over Josh or anyone else.
So first off, thank you guys for taking out some time to come and chat on the show. I know, listen, everyone's busy, we're doing this a little bit later, so thank you guys for that, and more importantly, thank you guys for agreeing to come on and let me bug you for 30 or 45 minutes or an hour, however long this ends up being. So thank you guys. Huge shout out to y'all for doing this.
Hey, our pleasure, man.
Yeah, we really love what you started up here with this podcast. It's been great to see you grow, and we're definitely excited to be here.
Ooh, man, flattering. I'm trying to. Who was I talking to? I've done so many of these, and they're all gonna go out in different orders that I can't remember who I said this to. But we talked. It might have been Ben Peterson, Ben Banters. I was chatting with him, and I was like, honestly, Ben, this is just like I just get to jump on and nerd out for however long and gush over whoever I'm talking to. So really, you guys are doing me the favor, but it's it is what it is. So without any more delay, I want to jump right into Novel Carry and what it is. So the easiest way for me to start this off, one of you guys just give me like the elevator pitch, what you tell your friends and family, like when someone says what is Novel Carry, like walk me through what it is, what you guys do, all of that stuff.
Sure. So full disclosure, I'm actually a watch guy at heart. But
Okay.
what I really love about the internet and Instagram is the sense of community. So in the watch community, there's a good sense of that. You know a lot of the players, you know a
Yeah.
lot of the people. You become friends with them. And when Derek came to me with the EDC thing, I sense that as well. And what we're really trying to do is to get the people that make the community so special, especially the people that make quality products that have small
Yeah.
businesses out there, for the people that really enjoy the community to experience their goods and have stuff in front of them and be able to purchase it and still make a profit for those people.
Yeah.
That was really lacking in the space from what we could see, and we're trying to fill that void. There's a lot of great people in the community, a lot of very avid fans, of craft goods, and there's a lot of makers out there that need support, and we're trying to fill that void.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. One of the things that I found really early on in the community, and when I started doing stuff like the website and the podcast, is that there obviously that sense of community. We hear that over and over again. When I'm talking to folks or interacting on Instagram or whatever. But you guys are really taking it to the next level in really being a platform for some of these huge makers. That's I feel like sites like Etsy are
Mm.
they're a little too broad, and they're really easy to kind of get lost in the sea of all the junk that they say. And Etsy sells some good stuff too, whatever. But I think to have sort of a specialized shop that's dedicated to the folks that really make the community is a brilliant idea. And I love seeing what you guys are putting together.
Yeah, I think you touched on a really good point there. It's actually one of the reasons why I even brought this whole idea to Josh in the first place was I think if I remember correctly, I was looking for a leather holster for some knives. And of
Uh huh.
course, I'm on Instagram, but I just wanted to see what else was out there. And in doing so, I looked on Amazon, and there's so much garbage, just
Yeah.
so much garbage. Almost all of it's made in China, which China, in a sense, isn't a bad thing, but when it's all counterfeit goods, it definitely is a bad thing.
Absolutely.
And then Etsy, as you said, is just so broad, and there's also so much junk to go through on that platform that I was just wondering, like, what other than like I know we have Urban EDC supply out there, but what other place has a platform that makers can sell their goods on? And there just wasn't something that existed yet. There's a lot of distribution places, but there wasn't a platform where they could sell their goods and connect with their customers at the same
Yeah,
time.
for sure. And one of the things that I'm curious about, and obviously we'll get into sort of the weeds of it a little bit more, but one of the things that I promised myself, and I'm like running back through my list of guests, um, and obviously, okay, so like Sam, Raven the Pirate, doesn't count, but anybody else that I've had on the show, I don't want to talk to them on the show unless I've been a customer and I've kind of vetted them, if that makes sense. So one of my questions, and again, this is more for personal knowledge than I don't know if anybody else cares, but what I'm curious is what is like y'all's vetting process like to bring somebody on?
That's a really good question. And Derek and I have talked a lot about that because we're starting a business from scratch, from the ground up, and you want to get as many people involved as you can, but you want to make sure what you're putting out there isn't garbage because that was the
Right.
problem we're seeing.
Exactly.
And Derek might be elaborate a little bit more, but I mean we've kind of tried to make sure that the people we're bringing on are they're avid people in the community. They have a voice. They have a good product. They have a good following, and they're respecting the community. We don't want to
Yeah.
flood the market with more stuff like you can find on Etsy and Amazon.
Right.
Yeah, I would say when we first got started, we were reaching out to targeted people, people that we knew in the community had strong brands and were already selling quality goods. But of course, as we launched, we've been receiving inquiries on people wanting to sell their goods on our store, and I think what we ended up deciding was we need to see samples, and we need to vet them in a sense of what do their customers say? Do they have a following on Instagram? How engaged is their following? Not
Yeah.
saying they have to be a big brand or anything, but we need to make sure that they are a real person. They're connected to the community. They're not just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. I think if you can weed out some of the folks like you said that are trying to make a quick buck, or just peddling all of this stuff for the sake of getting as many hands as possible, and quality kind of goes out the window. No, I think that's great. I think again, like I said, that was really more my curiosity, because I told myself a long time ago, like, I really don't want to promote or push or share or whatever unless I've been a customer, because I don't. The last thing I want is for people to see something on my page and say, oh, I got to check that out, and then they have a terrible experience. So like that's what I was always scared of. So I was just curious how you guys handled that. So uh, moving into, so I want to, obviously we've kind of established what novel carry is, but I want to go back, to when you guys who. So Derek, you brought this idea to Josh. Josh to Derek. How did this sort of come about?
This this is a good background story, a good origin story.
Okay.
So I'll kind of start off, Derek, and you can pick it up. So
Right.
I I work for Husqvarna in North America, the research and development, and Derek actually used to sit right next to me. Um, a while
Okay.
back, years back. So we were both project managers. Derrick moved on to a different company, and then about a couple months later, he reached out to me and he saw what I was doing, in the watch community, just taking pictures and kind of getting to know everybody. And he's like, "Hey, are you into EDC?" And I said, "A little bit. I like knives. I like stuff like that, leather goods." And he's like, "I have this idea. What if we were to start a blog?" And I said, "Okay, well, what do you really want to do with it?" He's like, "Well, I kind of want to just put honest reviews out there of products and make sure people are buying good stuff." And I said, "I could do that. Well, I get to review watches." And Derek's like, "Sure, if you can bring watch people in,
Yeah.
you can review them." I was like, "Sweet." So basically got to review a bunch of watches, and it kind of just grew from there. It We got a big groundswell from the blog site.
Yeah.
Um, we started getting a lot of interest, people wanting to partner with us, and then Derek came to me with an idea of, like, what if we take this to the next level?
Yeah.
And I'll let you take from there, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it really well. I mean, I remember calling you when we were when I had just got started. And I was like, well, I want to do Facebook and Instagram and like Pinterest, all this, and you're like, whoa, 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 like just like focus on one thing. And
I
after that,
remember helping you start the Instagram, and it's blown up since. But I was like, you need
Yeah.
you need to focus on one thing. You can't do all at once. It's impossible.
yeah,
Yeah, and one thing I would encourage the folks listening, if you're not super familiar with novel carry, this was sort of new to me. I'm a relatively new follower of you guys. We've been talking for a little while, but um, Derek, I think it was you that sent me the link for some of the stuff you had written for the blog. I was blown away. I had no idea that there was so much content on there. And so for the folks listening, like, yeah, there's a great shop, but there's also just a ton of great content. So, it's really cool to see, not only you guys grow, but just sort of the evolution of this idea of coming together and now kind of taking it to the next step and really again enabling other folks in the community to kind of step their game up. So again, my hat's off to you guys. You're absolutely crushing it.
yeah, we had this great series that Sam Raven the Pirate actually wrote for us. We have it on our store. Is his photographic guide to EDC basically, and
Yeah.
the response to that, just that one series was phenomenal. I think it's really helped elevate a lot of photography in the EDC space specifically, and I think it's also transferable to anything you do with a phone camera or anything, for your family, you know.
Yeah. So, question on that. I mean, with that being obviously the shop is a huge focus right now. It's a huge priority, but you guys still plan on doing, editorial content, blogs, reviews, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So I was going to say, we spent a ton of time on the blog and getting reviews up there, and honest opinions and features, and like any small business we start up, it's really hard to articulate how much work we've put into building this site from the ground up. I mean,
Yeah.
the entire platform Derek coded from the back end. I mean, we're doing all the marketing ourselves. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and we kind of, in order to make that work in such a quick timeline, we've had to neglect the blog a little bit. But
Hmm.
now that it's up and running and we've got all the vendors loaded and everything, and it's starting to get some groundswell, we're definitely turning our focus back to the blog, because
Yeah.
we think that's an integral part of the business, is making sure there's features, making sure there's articles on goods, reviews, a lot of just stuff that we've been putting by the wayside. We want to get back to that. That's what
Yeah.
started it, and that's what's going to drive it. We want to make sure we're focusing on that too.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like I said, I was blown away by the amount of content, and now I was going through and I was bookmarking a bunch of pages because like I gotta come back and check some of these out. Because, anyways, so you guys are gonna make me spend more money. Um,
That's a good thing, right?
yeah, well, listen, my wife's
I
not in
mean,
here, so it's
exactly.
fine. But when she listens back to this, honey, just I'm sorry. Um, no, so that's awesome. One of the things that I've seen you guys more recently have a lot of success with, and I okay, so again, I may have like four different questions all at once here, so I apologize in advance. But
No problem.
recently, you guys launched the Novel Carry and Raven the Pirate Sam coin, and then you guys did the V2 with the different colorway and the slip. And those were exclusive to you guys, and they were sort of limited drops. Um, After the idea of creating this market, was that also something you guys wanted to incorporate, as these limited drops?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Definitely, it's definitely part of what we want to do as our business model. Derek
Hmm.
and I both come as project managers, a lot of source goods, so we know how to find the right manufacturers and get quality products. And there's a lot of guys out there like Sam that have great ideas that they want to bring to life, and we're helping facilitate that. It's part of the business. We don't want to make it our sole business, but it's definitely helping, you know, get the interest in the company and what we're doing.
Yeah,
And when we have one successful launch like the V1, people like Sam come back and say, "Hey, we'd love to do a V2. We think it's a great idea." And then there's
yeah,
constantly ideas flying around, people telling us, "Hey, I'm interested in making this product." And we're looking at those ideas and saying what makes sense from a perspective of the business, but also for the community. Like, what do we want to do to elevate everything?
yeah,
Hmm. And it's a fine line to play, right? Because at the end of the day, we're a platform for makers to sell their products on, so we don't want to overshadow them on our own platform.
yeah. That's
Um,
a great point.
and to be completely transparent, like we're not making much money right now off the store, so these drops are funding everything we're doing.
Yeah,
So thank you, Sam, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
yeah. Sam's a great guy.
You made Novel Career possible. You really did.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, I think it's cool that you guys have. Yeah, okay. So I think that having a drop is sort of the quintessential EDC element, right? I think for a lot of makers. But yeah, to your point, it's like, well, that's a novel carry product versus being the novel carry shop and hosting, a hosting platform for some of these makers. So um, do you guys plan on, or maybe I should ask, do you have any other collaborations that you guys are really excited about, or anything you can share, or are there things in the work but you can't say a whole lot right now? I'm cool with either one. You just let me know.
I'll say that we are constantly working on new products and trying to figure out what the next best thing is to bring as a drop. It keeps things spicy. That sounds
Yeah,
cliche, but it keeps people interested. And to be honest, that's what the community wants. They want that exclusive product. They want something
Mhm.
that's special, made by
yeah,
someone they truly like and follow, and they want to make sure it's a one off. And that's what we're trying to do.
yeah.
I don't know if we want to say everything we have in the works. I'll leave it up to
No, no,
Derek.
no, no.
We're
That's
definitely
fine.
working on things constantly, and the best thing about the marketplace is the vendors we partner with are all interested in doing things, exclusive products, for drops.
Yeah, and that was something I was thinking, is like, now you've obviously further legitimized the site and the shop and the business and the processes, by having these super successful drops. And now, not only do you have this cool platform for these makers, but you've also shown that, hey, we can take an exclusive idea or product and really crush it. So I, personally, I'm excited to see what you guys crank out, and what other novel carries. Well, again, whether it's a novel carry product, or maybe it's just a novel carry exclusive. I think you guys have a really great platform set up to continue to grow there.
I would agree, and I don't know, Derek, if you want to hint at anything we're kind of like working on now. I'll leave that up to you, but I think we've got a lot of iron. We got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
Yeah, Josh is always reminding me too. I'm the kind of guy that wants to do like a million things at one time.
Yeah,
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm his like is his voice of reason. I'm like the angel on his shoulder, like, all right, I like what you're doing. Let's just slow down a little bit. Let's think
put a
about
pin in that. That's pretty good.
What makes me a good
Um,
project manager is I like to go fast and do a lot of things. But yeah, I mean we've got a few things in the works. I would say Sam's definitely involved in a couple of those things.
yeah,
We really like working with Sam. He's got some fantastic ideas, and and the community that he's fostering and building,
yeah,
the Pirate EDC plus, community with great photographers that are coming in on Instagram. They're they like him, and he like his products. So
yeah,
it keeps
yeah.
making
He's
them out. People keep liking him.
Well, and the more I get to know, and that's why I hope part of what this show does is put you guys in front of people that might not have known who you are. Maybe they've seen you, but they don't know a whole lot about you. part of the reason why I love to support Sam's work is I like Sam, and same with you guys. Like I want to continue to support the shop and support the site because I like you guys, um, and hopefully that's kind of what you guys are ushering in with this platform that you've got. Um, Josh, you said something earlier about helping start the Instagram. How long ago did you guys start the account?
I would say it's has it even been a year, Derek?
It's been 18 months.
Okay,
18
it doesn't
months.
feel like that long, but then again, my kid just turned 1, and it felt like 6 months. So everything's a
You
little
blink
strange
and you miss it, right?
in the quarantine times. Things are strange.
It
Uh,
is. Yeah, so that's an interesting sort of segue, or not segue, but kind of another point. You guys have been at this for 18 months now. Well, 6+ months of that has been living in the time of quarantine. And I know this is an online marketplace, but have you guys run into any issues or hiccups because of COVID and everything that it's kind of put stress on?
I mean,
I think
go ahead, sorry, Derek.
I was just going to say, I think it actually it helped us.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was working in the office every day, I wouldn't be able to take an hour, you know, just briefly to call a vendor or call Josh to work on something. So being able to break
Same.
up the day and do two jobs at one time, but work more hours has been awesome.
Same here. Don't tell my boss though.
It's been kind of crazy, to be honest, because if you think about it, Derek, we started this right around the time COVID hit, of trying to get the platform up and running. It was within a month or so,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I really think, as bad as it sounds, it's kind of been a blessing because we do have that flexibility in our lives now. Like if I need to talk to Derek for 2 hours because we're working through some sort of payment issue when we're trying to get the tests running on the site. And by
Yeah.
the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but Derek coded our entire site from the ground up. Like there was no multi-vendor platform out there.
That's
So
nuts.
it took months to even get the tests ready to go. It's been an uphill battle. So what you're seeing is truly like a product of love. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is our blood, sweat, and tears in this.
Just
And
just to clarify, we are on a platform that does exist, but it was ugly.
that's why I'm giving you all the credit, man. It was really ugly.
Yeah, no, I mean the site's beautiful. The vendors that I've seen are incredible, and one of the things that I like about the site is listen, I'm working on an episode. I don't know if this one's gonna air before or after the episode I'm referring to, but I'm working on putting together an episode with folks that do leather work in the community. And you guys know just as well as I do, there's about 4 million of them that are all really great. And the one thing that not one thing, but one of the things that I liked about the shop is there's not, a one size fits all. I love the work that Peter does and Rambler made, and his stuff's on the site. But there's other leather makers on the site that are they have products showcased as well. So I like seeing a good mix, a good supportive healthy mix of makers. So again, a huge shout out for that as well, because again that it can be tough to break through when there's so much good talent out there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's making our site kind of differentiate from a lot of the other ones is that Derek's really in tune with the community. He knows a lot of people, and there's so many people out there, like you said, Greg, that make quality products. But it's what's the right mix for us while still supporting as many people as we can to
Yeah.
make it successful. So we're always trying to look at like how do we bring in the right people to make this site better for everybody. I mean, there's so much opportunity out there, and it's how do we optimize that, for everyone involved, not just us, but the entire community and all the vendors we're supporting.
Yeah, and I mean, already we have about our catalog's almost 2,000 different products. In making that searchable and dissectable has been so challenging because, like,
Yeah.
again, remember we talked you touched on it earlier about Etsy being just so large. Like, how do you even find things in there?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, making sure that the customer can find like the blue bead, just the blue bead, maybe in titanium,
Yeah.
easy, you know. So he's not looking for 10, 20 minutes to find a good quality product in the specifications that he wants.
Yeah, and kind of in going on that same point of sort of diversity, you guys have landed some really great makers on the site, and so it's cool to see, like, Ti2 Design, obviously, Rambler made. I mean, there's Real Men Carries on here, and then you know what? I did see a maker that I remember specifically from Etsy because I've bought from them on Etsy before,
I know it's. I
and
know what to say.
ZNC.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so super talented maker and just some really great prices. Um, and so I saw that they were selling stuff on y'all's site too. So again, I think that's really cool. I get excited about that stuff.
I
Again,
think
I think it's cool to give somebody like that who might have gotten lost in the sea of Etsy to um, I think it jumped out at me when I jumped on the L site one time. I was like, oh hey, that looks cool. Wait, I know that guy. Okay, I bought from them before, just not on
That,
this platform yet.
I think one of the things that really surprised me specifically about this is the response from the all these makers. I was anticipating of reaching out to like 200 makers and only getting like 10 responses back. I was wrong. These
Yeah,
guys and girls, they like working with their hands and they want to get their products in front of as many people as possible. And they were so eager to work with us. And we've had our issues with the site. There's been bugs, and they have just rocked on with us and are working through all the bugs with us. And it's been a real nice blessing because they understand what it means to build something from the ground up, and that's been a really nice asset to have.
yeah, and my hats off to you guys for that. One thing I would say is being part of the community. I'm not surprised you got such a response because listen, if you give me the choice between giving a portion of my profits to Etsy or a portion of my profits to two dudes that built this thing from the ground up that are involved in the community, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? So I think that you guys are going to continue to see success just because, again, I'd much rather give back to folks that are in the community, that are helping the community, that are growing the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a no brainer, and I think I'm excited to see more makers continue, and obviously the excitement of more exclusives and all that stuff that comes with it. So again, I think it's fantastic.
And I think that's what you just touched on, Greg, is important. Like, you're giving a portion of your proceeds to the community, and I think that's what really drew me into Derek's, idea is that we both come from major retail. I mean, I work for a multi-billion-dollar company, and even when we sell our products in major retail, it's a struggle. We see it, we feel it. So when you look at these small businesses who are trying to work with Amazon and Etsy, and you see the amount of fees they're giving up for the products that they put their hard work into, it's kind of, it almost feels unfair. Um,
Yeah.
so we kind of sat down and how can we do this and make enough money to keep the site running? Not make a major profit, but how can we do this for the people that are putting all the hard work into these products to get their stuff in front of people and make sure that they're making enough money to keep their craft going? And I think that's what we're doing, that this kind of differentiating us a little bit. We're not trying to turn a huge profit. We're just trying to make sure we have enough visibility and can support the people that make this community so great in what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And there are EDC stores out there that do a lot of distribution, but typically distribution's cut on a maker's margin is so massive.
Hmm.
A maker, yeah, they can fill up their shop with all these orders for distribution deals, and but they're taking more money from a guy in a garage
Yeah.
sometimes, or a guy a husband and wife, is it doesn't feel right to me. So when we do this, it's to make sure that we're getting their product in front of more people, but taking as little as possible.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I sort of had a question on is when you guys are onboarding a new vendor, is it hey, just we're gonna upload your entire catalog, or do you guys expect them to come in with sort of a minimum, or how does that work?
So I've always told, oh, sorry, we've always told the maker that So our whole, sorry, backtrack for a second. Our whole thing is a marketplace for the maker by the maker, right? So there's no restrictions, there's no stipulations. It's just if you want to list with us, you can. You don't have to stay with us forever. If you want to leave tomorrow, that's cool too. We want you to be happy on our platform. There's no requirements whatsoever other than selling a high quality product.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, that I was always curious because again, obviously, if you guys are doing something like a limited drop, there's going to be a set amount of quantity and you're done. But if I'm little Joe Schmo working out of my garage, banging out a couple wallets a day, it'd be nice to be able to just put a listing up and as I have products. So that's cool. That's good to know that there is some flexibility there. Well, Josh, you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to circle back on. You said you're a watch guy.
Oh, I'm a big watch guy.
Listen, I am not, and I have so I I have one watch. It is a an original Seiko Arnie. Does that give me any bonus points?
Oh, it actually absolutely does. I'm a Seiko fanboy all the way.
Okay, so I'm listen. I'll have to tell you the story another time about how I got it, but I didn't pay anything for it.
Oh,
It was kind of
looks
an
like you're
amazing
going for quite a
situation.
premium now, man.
So, you know, what what kind of differences are there in like the watch community? Do you notice any big differences between like the folks in the watch community and the folks in the everyday? Because listen, not everybody does, but I do. I separate them. They're different to me.
Yes and no to a certain extent. So, to be honest, in the watch community, you have your broader community that doesn't care what kind of watch you're wearing. You could be wearing like I am right now, a $200 Seiko, and people still appreciate it for what it is. You'll still have your snobs that if it's not a Rolex, a Tudor, a Breitling, whatever, they're going to ignore it. I imagine it's the same way in the EDC community. You could be carrying a black bug out like me, and that's cool, but it's not
Yeah,
like a custom made one off, whatever. Um, but the sense of community is still there. I
yeah,
mean, once you make friends, I mean, I'm in a WeChat with about 20 guys from around the whole community. Watches.
yeah,
We talk every day. We talk about my kid. We talk about their wives. Like we're all friends.
yeah,
And I've only met a couple of them, but they're all genuinely nice people, and they really care about what's going on in your life. And we bonded through something as stupid as a watch. I mean, it
yeah,
sounds stupid, but it's no different than knives or wallets. I mean, you guys, you bond on what's important to you, and that's what a community is about, right? You have the
yeah,
same similar interests and likes. So yeah, I mean, there's different tiers, but I would consider it the same, man. It's all one big community, and everyone appreciates everybody for what they
yeah.
have.
It's it's funny. You said Rolex, and then the brand you named out. Did you say Tudor?
Yeah, I have one of
My,
those.
my brother has a Tudor, and
I have
he
one too, but mine was a gift from my wife for my first Father's Day, so
uh
it was a special gift.
yeah. It's just it's funny because I feel like he's not a watch guy, just like me, but he's got this nice Tudor, and he will tell me everything about it. So no, so are there any plans for bringing some of that community into the shop?
So I've been trying to work on that. The one thing I could think that might resonate might be like straps, leather straps.
Yep.
For some reason, a lot of you EDC guys aren't really into watches. So I'm trying to find a balance of how to bring some makers in to kind of tie in that the little niche you guys have that are into watches.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple guys I know that they're really good into making bespoke straps, things
Hmm.
like that. I think that might be a good fit for our store. Interestingly enough, Derek got into watches because of me, so
Yeah.
I've created another addict.
I
You
have
guys
three
won't
of his
convert me.
watches.
It's not happening. Mm-mm. Listen, I got my Seiko. I'm good. So, um, what do you think of, or have you seen, Serge Panchenko's watch design?
I have not, but I'm looking
Either
at
of
them.
you? Yeah. So Serge, again, being a watch guy, obviously, if you're into everyday carry, Serge is pretty renowned as far as knife designing and gear designing and all of that stuff. But I recently watched Nick Shabaz's review on Serge's prototype, and he's
That is
been,
that is an interesting watch.
it is, and I think the thing that Nick Shabazz pointed out, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nick, I'm sure you are. um, Nick pointed out in his video, he was like, for watch guys, this may not be a thing, but for some of the EDC folks, this may bridge that gap. And so I'm curious to see if that does well. And I don't know. Again, I find the watch community, or the folks that are into watches, it's really hard to get into because it's sort of overwhelming. Um, but I think the same could be said about EDC and all the gear that's floating around the community now too. So it is what it
It's
is, I guess.
interesting because Derek, I'm looking at this watch and I see a lot of similar ideas that our buddy Zach at Ardor and Forge had, and
Yeah,
it's really so Zach Rakovan with Ardor and Forge is a great dude. I met him up at the Microbrand Watch Show in DC a couple years ago,
Uh-huh.
and he had a great watch. We reviewed a couple of them. Ardor Forge. It was an EDC style watch. It had this crazy bead blasted case, funky design, like 4 colorways, and it had the same movement, like a lot of the same stuff. And it was more of a
Yeah.
classic watch, but it was a little funky. And
Yeah.
for some reason, the watch world liked it, but the EDC world kind of was like, eh.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's just a tough market. It's a tough a tough blend of groups to please at the same time.
yeah,
it's
for sure.
really curious though because I mean it confuses me to no end. I try to incorporate watches into our Instagram feed and it just never works out.
It really doesn't. I'm like, Derek, why are there more watch pics? You have watches. And he's like, it doesn't work. Our followers don't like watches for some reason.
Post a watch photo and gets like a third of the engagement as any other post. It's just really weird. It's just like the most EDC thing there is, other than a knife, and
Yeah.
people just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate on it, but I'm not a watch guy. And I get asked that from time to time. And I've had people ask, like, hey, you should do a watch episode. And I'm like, trust me, you don't want me to do a watch episode. We, we would talk about the Apple Watch and my Seiko and the story behind how I got it. And that's probably it, which, hey, that might be entertaining anyway. So,
I would be
uh,
interested in
listen, long story short, I got it for free. It was crazy. I'll again details later, but
that.
it's it, it's very special to me. My father-in-law gave it to me for free, by the way, and he got it for free too. Anyways, I've said too much. So moving on. Again, you guys have created this insane platform. Um, you guys, I one of the things I was curious about as far as your account goes, I see you're just shy of like 8,000 followers. Whenever you guys did your first sale, your first real drop, right? That was the Raven V1 coin, am I right?
That's correct.
It
So
was actually
Oh,
a
that's not
Vero
correct.
Fulcrum.
It
wait,
was
I'm sorry, Derek, what was that?
It was the Vero Fulcrum.
Okay, so okay, yeah, yeah. So when you guys did your first drop on the Fulcrum, did you guys see a pretty rapid response and some pretty quick growth from that, or was it not until later when you guys did um, uh, uh, the Raven coin?
So I I don't I when we did the Vero Fulcrum drop, we didn't grow that much because it wasn't our brand. And
True.
then I don't know if our growth has definitely accelerated, but I'm not sure if it's because of the Ravencoin drops themselves. Because again, that's not our brand. It's actually Sam's brand
Right.
that we're selling, and he's definitely seen some acceleration and growth as well. It's maybe we're just becoming more of a pillar in the community, and people just find us easier is what's really driving our growth.
You guys are just crushing it on your feed. I mean, the shots have been incredible, and again, my hats off to you guys for the coordination on that, because it's an incredible feed to go follow. Um, what's I'm trying to think. I want to loop back around to the blog because that interests me. Again, I made the decision to start the blog in 2017, I think. Um, and about 2 years later, I decided to stop blogging. I decided to stop writing articles because I thought, man, I should spend more time on the podcast. So what I'm interested in blog wise, are you guys going to keep putting up? So you said you plan on continuing like the features and the reviews and stuff. Are you guys going to branch out into something a little more technical, like video content, stuff like that?
I mean, I personally can't speak to the video content. I know we want to continue doing reviews and actually putting written content on the site because, to be honest, it brings traffic back to the store and to the makers we're trying to support. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
we got a lot of clicks in SEO, through Google from our written articles. And it's a lot of work to keep content flowing and make sure it's good content. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you ran a blog, you understand that. And it's probably
Yeah.
why you decided to focus on instead of
I
both.
do it for my day job too, so I was
No,
like, I just gotta stop.
no,
Yeah.
it's a full time job just to while you're sitting at work, try and figure out how you're going to get shots and like get an article written and get it posted every
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
We definitely need to keep that going. As far as video content, I mean, it all depends on how much we grow. I mean, Derek and I talk all the time. We have huge ideas for novel carry. It's just a matter of if how can we get there.
And so one of the questions I try to ask to everyone, is team wise, right? You said Derek built the site, and you guys are putting in a lot of the legwork or all of the legwork. Um, do you guys have plans on growing the team and bringing in some support as business allows?
I mean, I for one would love to hire an accountant because right now I am the adjunct accountant and it terrifies the living crap out of me.
So
Yeah.
okay, no, that's totally fair, 100%. Um, when it comes to the stuff like shipping, you guys are boxing everything up individually, or you guys bring in the wives and stuff for help?
No,
So that
so when we do a drop, like for instance, the last coin drop, I drove up to Derek's house and we sat there for 3 hours and we individually boxed every single coin. We hand wrapped them, hand
Do you guys
twined them.
spray it with cologne too? Because I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, it's that's how much we care. We want people to have a good product. I mean, we get the coins made and they come to us in a little plastic sleeve, and then we go the extra mile and make sure that
Yeah,
there's personal touch. We talk to Sam, we get him to make the postcard and the signature and the graphics, and then we sit there and
yeah,
literally one of us is putting them in paper and wrapping them and taping them up. The other one's putting the envelopes together. I mean, it's all us. I mean, everything you see from Novel Carry is the makers, and then if it's a drop, it's us and the makers working
yeah.
together.
No, and I don't think any of that is lost. I One of the things that I appreciate from a maker in the community is quality packaging and like attention to detail. And obviously when you look at your site, there's attention to detail. There's no question about that. But when it comes to receiving a shipment, like it's like Christmas. And then you guys take the care to like wrap the coins so nicely. Like again, none of that is lost. So again, huge compliment to you guys for the work you're putting in around that kind of stuff, because it may seem like a little thing in the moment, but those little touches add up and they pay off. I think you guys are crushing it.
you're making me blush, Greg.
What's that?
So you're making me blush.
Listen, I told you guys this is what I do. I bring people on and I compliment you for 45 minutes straight, and you have to just take it, okay? there's there's no question. So what, I know you said you guys have big ideas and big plans and sky's the limit with the store and the site. What's coming up in the next few weeks, months, maybe the next year that you guys can talk about? I mean, is there anything that you guys are trying to roll out in addition to the site, or anything you can share?
I think the next logical step, and this is all still to be agreed on and everything between Josh and I, and we have a lot of ideas, but one of the ideas that has me the most excited is, um, you know how Amazon, you ship stuff to Amazon and you have FBA, which then they ship it to the customer after the order. And basically
Yeah,
that does is it takes away that time from the maker where they're packaging their products and having to do
yeah,
all the logistics and go to the post office and ship it, and focusing them back on just making their products and then giving them to us so we can do all that work for them. So you
yeah,
talked about expanding our team. Like that's where like the next logical step to me would be to, you know, go to that next mile and help the maker even more and say, hey, you don't have to worry about shipping stuff anymore. Just send it to us and we'll do all that.
that's really cool. That's a great idea,
Yeah,
man. I
it's kind of great because in the same sense, as a business, we're still not technically holding inventory, but we're taking all of the work out of their hands. We're helping them make profit easier, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you continue your quality message with again, stellar packaging and reducing the wait times and all of that stuff. So no, I think that's brilliant. um Derek, I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but one of the things I saw you guys do a monthly giveaway on the site. Is that something you guys are planning on continuing?
Absolutely.
Yep, especially when the Facebook giant that is doesn't let us make any ads whatsoever because we sell a knife, which is
He's not joking. So
No, I listen. I'm aware of Facebook's ad tool. It's
in addition to counting, I'm also in charge of the marketing, and it's been a struggle.
yeah,
Even if you're not marketing a knife, that they see knives on your site or your posts in general, it gets rejected instantly. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
So
Facebook's
yeah,
content is it's they're very strict. Their ad tool is terrible to navigate, and then even when you do kind of get it figured out, which I feel like I'm like a 5 out of 10. Like I'm moderate with Facebook's ad tool, but yeah, you'll submit a design and just wait and wait and wait, and then you'll get that notification like your design was rejected. We found this problem with it. Yeah,
it's
no,
already
listen, I've been there. I'm with you. I know that that is like the worst.
so the one of the good things is that I think everybody's aware of that issue, and unfortunately, like it or not, Instagram is our main platform right now, other than the
Sure.
site. So we have a great group of makers, and a lot of them have been more than willing to partner with us. So I think the TI2 design pen we just gave away, and congratulations to the winner. That's an awesome product you're about to get. Um, it's just a start. So we've got a bunch of other makers that are willing to and have volunteered to help support. We're going to have features coming out and giveaways at least monthly um, to help drive traffic and to be honest, to pay it back to the community because that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I think you've again you've built this platform that you can then turn around and use. It comes full circle, and now you're doing exactly what you built the platform for, which is helping out the community. So I think that's awesome. I'm
Yep, and
excited to
I
see.
think September's got some really great stuff coming up right around the corner.
Ooh, man, I'm excited. So again, I excuse my giddy optimism. Anytime that I uh, get to talk to makers and folks that are this involved with the community, it's exciting to me. I like seeing you guys do what you do. I like seeing you grow, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have coming up.
Glad to hear it.
So, I usually have notes when I go through these shows, and you guys are the same. I have a page of notes of kind of as we talk, I scratch things out. I don't really have any other like specific topics. I mean, is there anything you guys want to share with the community? Anything you guys want to bring up or talk about that I didn't touch on?
As someone involved in the community, Greg, the question I would have for you is you've been on our site, you've bought product, you follow us on Instagram. What would you like to see that we don't currently have?
Oh man, if I say watches, are you guys gonna laugh at me? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean we try and make it happen.
Maybe more knives. I mean, I think you guys. I mean, now I'm digging into knives. See, I'm not for being in the everyday carry community and being a fan. I'm not a big knife guy. I mean, I have knives and I appreciate them and I do love a good custom. But I mean, you guys see, I carry a McBee every day. Like I'm not that into knives, and so I've been staring at the gear and pry bars and leather and all that stuff. I haven't even browsed the knife makers you guys have on the site. So maybe more knives. I don't know. Okay. So here's something I try to kind of ask everyone that I talk with. Are there any makers or accounts or brands or companies that are catching y'all's attention? Folks that you besides Sam. Sam, we're taking Sam out of the running because listen, he's an enigma. But like, but
We
like,
love
how
working with Sam, but yeah, he's already we're already working with him.
Yeah. So I mean, is there anybody that's catching y'all's attention, or anybody you guys have your eye on?
well, we definitely have our eye on some of the other EDC stores in the marketplace. We have Urban EDC Supply. Man, they are always pumping out awesome product.
Yeah.
And we try to emulate some of that energy here with the drops. And I
Yeah.
have the utmost respect for those guys. Man, the fact that they're able to do so many drops so frequently I know how much effort it takes him to do just one coin. I can't imagine doing the drops every single week. That's just
Yeah,
bonkers.
absolutely.
But they're definitely the giant in our space. In
Yeah.
terms of Instagram, man, I don't know if I think you follow Niels. It's EDC.
Yes, I know Niels. I can't think of his handle though. Now that Instagram puts our names in front of everybody when we chat, like I forget handles more now than anything.
EDC and me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Niels.
So he did this post with a pharaoh in flour, I think,
Uh
and
huh.
that blew my mind because when I looked at it, I just I thought it was just like Photoshop to no end, and nope, it was totally just
Yeah, 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 the arrowhead.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy shot.
Yeah, he's quite talented, and man, there's so many other talented makers out there, and photographers, and man, so many to that come to mind. I just wow.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I think it's a good problem to have when you're so surrounded by so much talent. Um, and to go back to Josh, what you said earlier about just finding the right folks at the right place, the right time for that are right for the shop, that are right for the community. You guys have already started to build that foundation, so I'm stoked to see you keep doing that. Um, so I'll start with you, Derrick. Everyday carry related or not doesn't matter. I just want to know what you're excited about right now.
Oh man, what am I excited about right now? Can we go to Josh and I can think about it?
Listen, you can say I'm excited to not be recording anymore. I don't care what it. No, yeah, Josh. I listen. The reason I started doing this is we can get tied up into gear all day, and we can talk about it all day. But I always try to kind of dig a little bit and see what really gets you guys going. So, Josh, if you want to take it, what are you really excited about right now?
Absolutely. So, my son's first birthday was the 27th of August, so I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
It's my first kid. Absolutely amazing. Can't wait to have more. And everyone in my family is happy and healthy. My parents are selling their beach house, moving up towards us in Charlotte.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
and, and I'm super excited about growing this business with Derrick. I mean, I think we've struck a nerve in the community. It's definitely a daily plod up the hill, but we're going to get there, and we
Yeah.
hope you guys are there with us. I mean, we want to put good product out there, and we want to help everyone that's making that product make some money. So,
Yeah. Derek, you've had more than enough time now. I gotta know what is on your mind, man. What are you up to? What are you thinking?
And maybe it's just my age. I'm still pretty young. If you guys don't know, I'm 26. Josh is a bit older than me. I don't know how old you are, Greg, but
but I just turned 38. I'm not that much older than you, man.
I just turned 30 in June, so you're in good company. Like we're
all
all.
but my whole life is basically work right now, man. It's just, I can't wait for the holiday season to come around so I can just take a break and I have some big projects that I've been working on my day job that
Yeah.
I'm about to finish up, and that's just going to alleviate a lot of stress for me, and I can grow this business more with Josh, and that's just going to be so exciting to watch grow.
Man, well, listen, you guys. I've said this probably a few dozen times already, but you guys have built a great foundation. You've got a great following. You're doing it the right way. You're involving the community. Um, and it's exciting, like the stuff you guys are putting out, stuff you're doing. Not only is it good, not only is it community, it's exciting too. And so in a community that sometimes I don't know if you guys listen to my old episodes where I complain about things, but sometimes I'll complain that it gets a little stale and everybody's doing the same thing. It's cool to see you guys shaking it up with some of these drops and really being sort of inclusive to all the folks in the community. So uh, that will do it. I don't have anything else. I appreciate you guys taking some time out. This has been a load of fun, and when you guys have your next big launch or rollout or whatever, we'll have to do this again. I mean, listen, my door's always open.
Well, that sounds great, Greg, and we really appreciate you taking the time to have us on, man.
Yes, I mean, come on, you guys. Like I said, you guys are doing me the favor. Yeah, Derrick, Josh, any other thoughts before we close it out?
Nope. I will say you are the first, um, I guess, media person that we have decided to sponsor, and we're so happy to make you that first person. I think you're doing great things for the
Ooh.
community.
Listen, I wasn't gonna say.
Oh,
Um,
that's a big shout out.
no, no, no. It's listen. I'm hugely excited. We will end on this note because you brought it up, Derrick. Um, I wanted to make this about you guys, not about me. But I'm going to take a minute. I'm gonna jump up and I'm going to say it. Yeah. So we finally have our first official sponsor. Now, obviously, by the time you guys hear this episode, I think just in terms of scheduling and how I've laid these out, you'll probably hear an ad for Novel Carry before you hear this episode. So you guys might already know this, so it's not a spoiler. But Novel Carry is the official sponsor of Gearing Up and the podcast and what we're doing here too. So these guys mean it when they're talking about supporting the community and putting stuff back into the community and helping it grow. So I have to thank you guys for that as well. It's awesome to see, and for you guys to have the faith in me to say, here, take our brand and talk to your people about it. Like, it's cool. So I appreciate that too.
No, it's a mutual thing, and we really appreciate you giving us the opportunity. I mean, like you said, we really mean what we say when we're about the community, and we just want to help build and support that. I mean, and if we have a partnership, we have a partnership. I think it's good for everybody involved, including the makers we're trying to support. So,
Right on. Well, guys, it has been a fabulous hour. I appreciate the back and forth. I look forward to seeing you guys continue to succeed, and I know we'll talk very, very soon. So thank y'all for coming on, and I'll talk to you guys later.
sounds great, Greg.
Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you very much.
Thanks, guys. And if y'all are still listening, hopefully you are, make sure you go subscribe. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify, Deezer. There's so many different platforms now, but make sure you guys go subscribe, leave us a rating. If you're not already following Novel Carry, be sure to do that on Instagram. Go show them some love. Tell them I sent you. And make sure you're following Gearing Up Podcast on Instagram so you see when new episodes come out. I will talk to everybody in the next episode. Thank you guys so much. Peace. Gearing Up is sponsored by Novel Carry. If you're not familiar with them, their goal is to filter out all the noise and help you focus on getting quality gear at fair prices from really talented makers. Whether you're looking for knives, leather goods, pocket tools, beads, or anything EDC related, they've got you covered. Trust me. I've been a customer of Novel Carry in the past. I'm a huge fan of what these guys are doing, and they mean it when they say that this is EDC for the community, EDC by the community, the makers marketplace. These guys are crushing it. Be sure to go check them out. In fact, they've always got a monthly giveaway going on. Head over to novelcarry.com and enter into their monthly giveaway for a chance to win some awesome gear to step up your EDC. Again, that's novelcarry.com.